Hi, hello everyone. Welcome to NBS Specialization Talk. Today, I'd like to introduce that Risk Analytics program, which is relatively new in NBS and introduced as one of the specialization. You may not be familiar with that topic, the program. So I hope this presentation helps you to figure out better about that program. Okay, so let me just start my presentation today. I'd like to focus on the four topics only. Okay, and for give you that better understanding about the risk analytics. Okay, the first topic is about what is in risk analytics. Okay, risk analytics, maybe risk and analytics, probably you have some idea about the risk and then also maybe some understanding about the analytics. But then what is a combination of risk analytics and then what is a sort of a backbone that we provide in this program? Okay, that is the first my explanation. And second topic is that more specifically, what is a skill set you can get when you join that risk analytics program. Okay, and then of course, we will introduce what's that program requirement and then what's the modules, and then how those are related to professional qualifications. Okay, and third topic is about the job. Of course, job is probably one of the most important concern for you, especially this kind of relatively new program. So I just want to clarify what's the target industry, what's the sort of industries that they are willing to offer the positions to that RA graduate. Okay, and our last topic is that I just want to differentiate that risk analytics program from the other programs, other majors, and so that you may have sort of clear difference between that RA and other the programs that will help you to sort of figure out what is that the risk analytics program. Okay, so let me just start from the first topic. Now, what is the risk analytics? Okay, risk analytics. Probably you know about risk. You probably know the risk from the basic econ class, and then, or maybe you may hear the risk about in finance course, or maybe accounting course. Okay, or you might learn that some statistical measures. Okay, and about measures of risk. Okay, for instance, standard deviation, variance, are those that are typically used as the measures to assess risk. Okay, but those are just measures. And then what is the risk? We actually define here in the risk analytics. Okay, of course, risk is that the future change, uncertainty, right, involved. And but we actually consider risk as that way of thinking. Okay, and I would say that the way of understanding this world in a broader sense. Okay, because that our society, our life, our economies are actually surrounded by a lot of different types of risk. For instance, a pandemic. Okay, we have been actually affected by pandemic COVID-19 already more than 2 years since the beginning of 2019. Okay, and it affected our personal life. It also affected our academic life and your campus life, or maybe you yourself may be affected by that COVID-19, or maybe your family member have been affected by the COVID-19 directly, right? But COVID-19, the pandemic, actually changed our sort of lifestyle, our way of behavior, right? And how we actually shop around, okay? And how we actually deliver or you receive a lecture, for instance. Everything changed, affected, right? Because we need to have a social distance, right? So actually changed our society, changed our behavior. So that is one of the risks we are currently facing. But it's actually not limited to pandemic, right? Because we also have a cyber risk, right? And your bank account may be at risk because someone maybe actually try to steal money from your bank account, okay? Because that you spend a lot of time online that you maybe provide information to someone else that allow the person to access to your bank account. Okay, that's maybe one of another risk. There are also other types of risk, like now, it's geopolitical risk is one of that sort of hot issue, right? Because that Ukraine, for instance, is far from here, but our personal life, or maybe that the companies, corporate finance, for instance, or maybe economy could be affected by that geopolitical risk. So actually, there are a lot of major risks that actually affecting our personal or maybe corporate behavior. Okay, so we want to figure out what are the major risks that actually could affect our life or maybe corporate. Okay, so we want to try to figure out our economy, our society in terms of risk better. Okay, that is actually helps that reduce uncertainty. Okay. And then, of course, it's not just intuition. It's not just information from that internet. Okay, we need more solid foundation about assessing, evaluating, controlling risks. That is why that we need to learn. You need to learn that analytics. Okay, and analytics is all about learning from data. Okay. And you learn many different, actually, the methodologies for you to actually get the implication, predictions from the data, okay? Because data is input, and then there's a model. Model provides some output, okay? Output is that implication, what you can learn, how you actually add the value to your company, for instance, or how you can actually reduce the operation cost, or how to actually have better prediction for the future outcomes. So that actually analytics helps you to reduce the uncertainty, okay, by utilizing the data. Okay, so that's why we have actually a combination of risk and analytics. Okay, here we now have a risk plus analytics, and we define the risk analytics as a sort of management of uncertainty. As I mentioned, there are a lot of risks are affecting our life or the corporate performance. Okay, the risk analytics can reduce uncertainty. Okay, we have better prediction, we have better preparation for the future outcome. Okay, and risk is just we tend to actually look at downside of risk, but risk is always the flip side is actually the opportunities. You may think about, that there are a lot of industries and the companies who actually has that much better performance after COVID-19, because part of the reason is that their transition, well, they actually adjusted their business better. So that's actually the opportunities, right? So now we actually, instead of going to supermarket, we may actually enjoy shopping online, right? And so actually, some vendors actually have very high performance nowadays. And also maybe delivery is that one of the industry that is actually positively affected by pandemic. So we also want to identify, not just looking at the downside, controlling downside, but also we may be interested in looking at the more opportunities, okay, behind. So better knowing the risk, we also know that what's the opportunities associated with risk. Okay, so we actually end up with that more sort of resilient, okay, corporation, the companies, or maybe for your individual, as an individual, you may be more resilient to that future changes. Okay, so what you can actually learn from risk analytics can be applied to your personal life, and then also as that you can add value that the company you can join. Okay, so the application is actually quite general. Okay, and then we actually look at the risk, and then to understand risk, we actually learn more about how we actually get the implication from the data, which is analytics. Okay, so that's how we actually define the risk analytics here. Okay? Then more specifically, now what kind of what is that risk analytics program? Okay. And still, you may probably get some rough idea about risk analytics right now, right? but you may probably don't know what's the inside of the black box. Okay? And then Risk Analytics program is quite unique because you cannot really find similar program in Singapore and then probably in other Asian countries as well. Okay? And then curriculum is that quite innovative because now we have a combination of risk and then analytics, not only just risk, but also not just analytics, right? And then also we offer risk work study degree program. So you may be interested in extensive internship opportunity that give you more incentive to learn. Okay, and then that's also the opportunity provided by Risk Analytics program. Okay, and what that RA program actually offers. Okay, I just want to emphasize two things here. Okay? Only two things, but those actually broadly define that the Risk Analytics program. First of all, actually, Risk Analytics program focus on financial risk management. Okay? And more specifically, the modules will cover 100% of that GARP, Financial Risk Manager exam part 1 syllabus. You may probably don't know about GARP. GARP is that Global Association of Risk Professionals. Okay? So that actually non-profit organization which actually offers several certificate and education programs. And then that actually the most known certificate is here, Financial GARP, Financial Risk Management, FRM certificate. Okay? So when you complete that Risk Analytics program, you are fully ready to write the exam, okay? And exam part 1. And there are actually two components, exam part 1 and part 2. But once you pass part 1, and then you can actually take part 2. We also offer a course which cover 20% of exam part 2. Okay? And what is GARP? Okay? If you are interested, I hope you just go to www.garp.org. Okay, then you can find this homepage and then explaining what is that financial risk manager and also what is a GARP. Okay, financial risk manager (FRM) is that global standard for financial risk. So that one of the most known certificate in financial industries, bank and then other security firms, other any financial firms. Okay. So that actually you can find a lot of like a job posting, for instance, which actually require this certificate, okay, financial risk manager (FRM) exam. So it is actually helpful to find a job for you to find a job if you have this certificate, okay, because this is the standard certificate for risk management, financial risk. Sorry, let me go back. Okay, so and also you can find more information about that FRM exam. And here I just have some information about exam part 1 and part 2. And again, I just try to emphasize that we cover 100% of the exam part 1. Okay, so you should be comfortable with taking exam when you complete. Even before completing program, you may be interested in taking writing the exam part 1. Okay, and then once you finish the part 1, and then maybe you go to the part 2. Okay, which in our modules, and 20% of that part 2 will be covered. But it's not that part of that the core module. It's actually that the major PE you can choose. Okay? And then how an FRM exam looks like. Okay, just like this. Okay, it's a multiple choice questions, but actually 100 questions. Okay, and if you have some basic knowledge about derivatives, then probably it's easy question, right? And so it's just like this. There are more complicated questions, but the question asks basic knowledge about the financial risk, risk management, and then some statistics. Okay, in the part 1, and then all the questions are asking basics. Okay, not too quantitative, but not too qualitative as well. But this is just one of the example that you can see what kind of questions will be asked in that exam. Okay? And then pass rates of that exam part 1 is about 40 to 50%, depending on the exam. But usually it's just range of the 40, 50%. But this is just for part 1. Okay? Then part 2 also have a same pass rate. That means that those who pass both part 1 and part 2 is actually only like a 20%, about roughly speaking 20%. So exams the questions are relatively straightforward, but the pass rate overall, like exam part 1, part 2, are not really high. So that it's still quite challenging professional certificate. And then the level of the topics, okay, that covered in the exams actually corresponds to, in Singapore, it's a master degree standard. Okay, actually not only Singapore, but overall, like Hong Kong, US, and European countries, it corresponds to master degree standard. Okay, it's not really undergrad degree standard. So that means that we actually set a bar very high. Okay. Okay. So you need to learn a lot, and you need to study hard to pass exam when you if you finish writing the exam at the end of that program. Okay, before I go to that job market. Okay. So, but at the same time, it's not too challenging. That's what I also want to emphasize. Okay, as you saw, that the exam questions are relatively straightforward. Okay. So as long as you study hard and allocate some reasonable amount of time to master topics, this is not that exam that you cannot pass. Okay, I'm sure that you can pass that exam, at least exam part 1. Okay, when you complete the program. Okay, and then we have dedicated instructors in this program, and we are more than happy to help all of you guys if you are interested in passing the exam. Okay. And second component, first component is the financial risk management. I told you it's related to professional exam, professional certificate. So it's tightly related to that specific professional certificate. And the second component is risk analytics. As I mentioned, in order to assess, evaluate, manage risk, data analytics is that almost requirement. Okay? Because we want to get implication, prediction from data. Because data is now a lot of data available, and we have computing power. So that why not just utilizing the data to get better implication, okay? To add the value to the company, or to reduce the cost associated with the operation, or to have a better prediction for the future loss. Okay? So data analytics, it's about the statistical skills. Okay? We have a sequence of courses starting from that year 2, Sem 1. Okay? And then each semester you have quantitative subject. And also the 2 sequence of analytics courses. Okay? And then what you can learn eventually is that predictive modeling, machine learning, you see here, deep learning. So it's actually the part of AI, how you can actually learn from the data. Okay? And it may be involving some algorithm behind, so that it's sort of mimicking that our brain, But the focus is actually that it's more about risk management and finance. Okay? We don't really cover other topics. We focus on the application to finance and the risk management. Okay? So for those who are interested in the analytics and also the finance industry, this specification is the best among others. Okay? All right, then how the core courses looks like. Okay, here I just listed that the courses related to FRM exam. We actually have 5 courses. The first 4 are actually core courses, okay, that are compulsory for all the students. Okay, starting from foundation of risk management, quantitative analysis, financial market, valuation. Those are core courses compulsory for all students. Last one, operational risk and resiliency, is actually related to exam part 2. Okay, first 4 courses actually cover 100% of exam part 1 here, you see. And the last one, operational risk and resiliency, is related to this exam part 2, 20%. So actually you can start preparation of exam part 2 by taking the last course, which is not core subject. Okay? And we have a sequence of analytics courses, analytics 1 and analytics 2. Okay? Actually, that the quantitative statistical subject is actually here as one of that courses here. Quantitative analysis actually cover the basic statistical topics. And then the 2 sequence of courses, analytics courses, cover more advanced topics. Okay? And then at the end, you can learn that the more predictive modeling and also machine learning, deep learnings, and then different models to get implication, better prediction given the data. Okay? So we have basically 2 sort of pillars, financial risk management component, and then also the analytics, as I mentioned. So we are actually a combination of these 2 skill sets. And this is sort of model, proposed curriculum for risk analytics major student. Okay, double degree student may have more options, more flexibility in their curriculum design. But I'm just trying to illustrate the model case for risk analytics student. Okay? And starting from year 2, Sem 1, there are 2 core courses, quantitative analysis, and then the foundation of risk management. Okay? And then I'm not instructor of this foundation of risk management. So if you choose that risk analytics, I will see you in the semester 1, in the second year, semester 1 in this subject. Okay? And in Sem 2, you also have, you are requested to take these 2 modules, financial market product, which is more related to financial risk management, like derivatives. Okay? And then the second one is that the first course of analytics 1. Okay? And third year, okay, you are requested to take at least 1 in the Sem 1 and then 1 in Sem 2. In the Sem 1, it's valuation and risk models. And then Sem 2 is the second course of analytics. Okay? And here I just illustrate that possibility here is highlighted. And then 1 is operation risk and resiliency, which is not a core subject, but major PE. So you may take this, and or this another one, computing for risk management insurance, which is more practical stuff, but it's immediately applicable to risk management and the insurance industry. So you can gain the knowledge how you actually use that data to get better, to help the company to have better prediction. Okay? So this is just one of that model case that you can think of. But at the same time, you may be interested in the work study degree program. Okay? And you may be looking for that exposure to extensive internship opportunity. Okay? We offer 35 full-time internship opportunities. Okay? And that's one possibility. And then if you are now year 1 student and then join that risk analytics program, and then basically this timing is from the end of January to February, you will apply for internship. So if you join the RA program, next February, you will start applying for positions, internship positions, okay, at this timing. Okay? Then if you are successful, you start that internship in May 2013. So the next May, you will start internship until the December 2013. So that the 35-week long okay, internship is available. Okay? Currently, that RA student applying that the positions in the banks, local banks, Standard Chartered, and then Bank of Singapore, for instance, and some insurance companies and the brokers such as Aon, and then some consulting firms at PwC and the KPMGs. So jobs, intern opportunities are available. Okay. And also, for those who are interested in insurance, okay, and then we also offer the financial support, okay, to for those who actually work for insurance company, is that this work study program, and then if they are actually seeking that the certificate, insurance professional certificate, okay, which is not offered by NTU, but offered by the Singapore College of Insurance, okay, and we are willing to offer some financial support for those who are willing to study for that certificate, because that we actually traditionally, historically, we have a strong tie with that insurance companies. So that's why actually we get support from industry, strong support. That's why that they are willing to help that student who study and then also work for insurance companies as well. Okay. All right, and I just want to illustrate one more option available to those who choose that RA, Risk Analytics major. Okay. One option is that actually here, GAP actually offer another certificate. It's called the CSR, Sustainability and Climate Risk. Of course, you know that climate change, okay, global climate change is that one of the biggest concerns, okay, for corporate. Okay. They also need to disclose that how to deal with the climate change and also sustainability issues nowadays. So actually, getting this qualification is also makes you very competitive in the job market. And then these are not really that courses offered by our that MBS, but you may choose that a minor in the environmental sustainability, which is offered in the Asian School of the Environment. And then completing these courses, okay, listed here, you have a better preparation for this certificate, okay? And that is that one option you can think of, so that to seek that both financial risk manager certificate, and then also that this sustainability and climate change, climate risk certificate, okay? And which is very attractive, okay, option for your career. All right, you can also find that the information about what is that CSR, okay, exam and certificate, and then how exam looks like. You may also go to the website www.gap.org, and then you can find this website and information. Okay. All right, the third topic I just want to cover is that the job, okay, and then probably that's most important information for you, and what job available for RA grads. Okay, actually we started this program last year, so there's still no graduate, but now the RA students actually applying for positions available in the market for the internship. And as I mentioned, some students actually apply to the Bank of Singapore and then Standard Chartered, and then also Great Eastern, and then some other insurance companies. And then you may not be familiar with the insurance broker, but the broker is here. You probably know that Aon, right? At least that you know that the famous soccer team actually that have a company logo Aon in their uniform, right? And that is actually that the biggest insurance broker in the world, okay? And then there are some openings in Aon for RA students right now, okay? And they also our students are now currently applying to the position at PwC and also KPMG, so the consulting firm. They also are looking for student who do that analytics. Okay, so basically that the banking and the insurance company, insurance industries are primary target, okay, for our student. Okay, and the profile we have, financial risk and then the risk analytics is the sort of perfect fit to the financial institutions and a very high demand from those industries. Okay. And then, of course, part of the reason is that the digital transformation, but also some insurtech, fintech, it's actually mentioned here. They try to utilize the information, data, and take advantage of the data, right? Those are the primary target for our graduate. Okay? And starting salary we are expecting is about 50K to 80K, so it should be much more than the average NTU MBS graduate. All right, then our last topic I just want to cover is that basically try to answer the typical questions I have been asked from the student. Okay? And then that sort of makes clear the difference between the RA program and other programs. Okay? So first question is that the RA course is highly quantitative. Okay? This is actually that's not really easy to answer, but it depends on the definition of quantitative. Okay? But I think it may be useful to compare that RA program, other programs, so that you have better idea about how quantitative it is. Okay? And one thing we can tell you is that RA program is less quantitative than actuarial science program. Actuarial science program is that the most quantitative subject in NBS. So we are sure that RA courses program require less quantitative skills, okay, and then involves the topics less quantitative. Okay, that's one thing I can tell. But another thing is that we may compare the RA risk analytics program with other majors, okay, main track banking finance, marketing, or some other majors. And then we are also sure that the RA courses are more quantitative than those courses, programs. Okay? So actually the RA program is actually located in between actuarial science and other programs. Okay? So that's the sort of proper explanation about how quantitative the RA program is. But at the same time, we don't really require that high-level math or that the high-level programming skills here. And then we don't also have a very stringent streaming guideline. Okay? But we need basic math and then also the coding skill. And also, more importantly, we want a student to have a strong interest in finance, risk management, and then data analytics. Because that, as I mentioned, our curriculum is actually target specific professional exam, okay? And then that, of course, data analytics can be applied to any, but we still focus on the application to the financial risk management, finance risk, right? So that if students are interested in both financial risk, finance, and data analytics, and then this would be the best specialization for those, okay? That is actually related to other questions. We'll come back. But next question is that does the RA offer exam, FRM exam exemptions? I told you that our modules are targeting that GAP, FRM exam. But question is maybe that the student may be interested in whether they can get the exemption or not. The answer is no, okay? None of the university program actually get exemption from GAP. GAP doesn't offer any exam exemptions. So unfortunately, all students who study the FRM exam need to take exam, need to sit the exam, okay? And but you can take that exam in Singapore, and it's a computer-based testing. Exam part 1. And exam part 2 is now also transitioned to that computer-based exam. So you may have more opportunities to take that exam part 2 as well. Okay? But you should be fully ready to take that exam part 1 when you complete that program. Okay? And the next question is how is that RA different from that, for instance, banking finance major with some courses in analytics, or maybe the business analytics major. Okay. Again, as I mentioned, that we actually aims to cover the topic in GAP FRM exam. Okay, and then we have very, in some sense, it's very tight requirement, right? Because the student need to take the 6 compulsory modules. Okay, so it's tightly designed, and then it's because that we actually target this specific exam. Okay, so that is a difference from us to from that banking finance majors. Of course, you can find that similar banking finance courses, but they don't really target this exam. Okay? So if you are interested in this professional exam, our modules are the best. Okay? And then also, for analytics, we focus on, again, the application to finance, financial risk management. Okay? And so our risk analytics skill set we offer is actually the best in terms of the application to finance and risk management, okay, compared to maybe the courses you can find in other majors. And another question, typical question, is how RA, risk analytics, is different from that actuarial science. Well, I told you that actuarial science is more quantitative, but more importantly, actuarial science is actually accredited by IFOA, which is a UK body, professional body of actuaries. And then for those who actually successfully complete the actuarial science courses here, and they get the exam exemptions for this IFOA professional exam. Okay? So if you are interested in actuarial professional qualification, and of course you should choose that actuarial science, not RA. Okay? But if you are interested in more like a finance side, okay, the banking application of the banking industry, and then the application, data analytics application to the finance in general, then risk analytics maybe fit better. Okay? So it depends on what you are looking for. Okay? And okay, that's actually all for my explanation. Here you can find that actually the quick summary of what I explained, and starting from what is that risk analytics, and what the program looks like, requirement, and work study, and also what jobs available, and then also lastly you can find some Q&A, the answer to some questions. Okay. So that's all for my explanation about risk analytics. Now I hope you have some better understanding about risk analytics now, and I hope that you add risk analytics as one of the options for your major. Okay? And if you have any question, this is just my name, Shinichi Kamiya from Banking Finance, and you see that email address, right? And so just drop me an email, and I'm more than happy to answer any questions related to this specialization. Okay. All right. Thank you so much for your attention, and then I hope to see you in semester 1 in my class. Thank you.
Choose NBS because it empowers you to be your best, because it helps to discover a better you for the future that you dream of.
Basically, to find ourselves and to learn how you can make an impact in this world.
Come to NBS to experience a different you. See you at NBS.
See you at NBS.
See you at NBS. See you at NBS.
I look forward to seeing you at NBS.